Happy spring, I think. Snowing this morning. What's going on? We're getting to the last half of April here and it's still snowing. Anyway, I'm not a weatherman, obviously, but it would be nice to have nice, warm, sunny spring weather. That'll certainly help, of course, boost home demand and the housing market, just like anything else benefits from great weather. But let's talk a little bit today about what's happening here in the market. I have some research here from Altos Research, market data. Some of you agents may follow this already, but it's a great way to see what's going on in the markets. As you know, the past number of videos, I've been talking about the fact that as interest rates continue to fall over the next number of months into the spring and summer, we could see even more competition, right? More buyer demand, even less inventory because of more competition with those lower interest rates that are expected to start coming into fruition here over the next few months. I'll show you the charts on rates and the mortgage-backed security market here in a second, but this, I think, is really telling. It tells you that there is definitely an inventory shortage. And we've already seen an uptick in buyer demand because spring is, well, supposedly here, right? And getting very closer and closer. So here in this research, I put in here Boise, Idaho. So you can see the median list price of new homes at 627. The interesting thing, though, is this chart down here. So if you go here, this shows you that median list price chart. The dotted line is the last 7-day average. The solid line is a 90-day average. You can see that prices have come up, right? Since the low of the end of the year, beginning of the year there, prices have come back up. Because interest rates have improved. February was an anomaly. Rates were higher then, but they were lower in January, lower in March and April so far. There's been more demand, and spring is here. So lack of inventory, more demand. Okay, we're causing prices to actually, the median price to rise in Boise. Let's do a quick look here and see what happens if we change this to Meridian just for kicks. So we'll go to Meridian, and we'll choose Meridian, Idaho, of course, not Georgia or California. So in Meridian, median list price now is 618.9. New listings about 567. Go down to the chart again, same thing, right? Low point about January 20th. And now here we are. Prices have increased. Now over the past week or two, it looks like they've chopped around and come down a little bit maybe. But over the last 90 days, we've seen an increase in prices. The same thing holds true if you go to Nampa. Very interesting. And Caldwell too. And I don't know if I want to take the time to go through all these, but I will. I'll just do it real quick. So do Nampa, Idaho. You can see here, list median price at 520, new listings about 463. Same thing. It's going back up, and the low point, if you can call it a low point here, wasn't that low, but was the end of January, which is equivalent to where it was back in about February of 21, right? So let's look at Caldwell. As you can see in Caldwell, kind of the same thing going on here. Of course, prices are slightly different in Caldwell than Nampa, but not a lot. So 449.5 for new listings and 575 for your median list price. And you can see it's actually Caldwell's had kind of a shot up, right, the last 7 days. So we're seeing quite an increase in price there. So, boy, one of the things that that is just becoming crystal clear here is that people are paying attention to what's going on in the market and interest rates. And they're also, of course, paying attention that it's almost spring. And so as we move forward, we could see prices actually continue to increase as there's less inventory and more competition. We're in a very strong seller's market in all of these areas. You see this little dial here, right? Strong seller's market, not a very, very strong seller's market, but a strong seller's market in all four of those markets here in the Valley. Which means sellers are still in control, although there is some weakness there, and there's some fear from sellers that they're not going to sell their houses fast because listings are taking longer on the market depending on your price point, depending on your neighborhood and where you're at. Now, some neighborhoods have seen prices drop over the last couple of weeks a little bit, but still risen since the end of January, since the beginning of January, end of December. Interesting thing. So let's look at the markets here real quick and see what's happening in mortgage-backed securities. So over the past 3 weeks or so, month, right, since the banking crisis about March 14th, March 15th, we saw an increase in the price of mortgage-backed securities. This is the 30-year fixed bond that determines interest rates. And we've basically stayed in that channel, right? If I were to draw a line here, we've got basically a channel here that we've remained in for that whole period of time for the past month, right? And we're still in that channel, albeit the last few days, we have seen pricing fall down to the lower part of the channel. And if it can hang in there and not, fall too far below this 50-day moving average, it'll come back sooner than later. There is some concern, though, that there's plenty of room down here, all the way down to this Fibonacci level, that we could see pricing continue to deteriorate, which would mean interest rates, go a little bit higher here over the next week or so. Now, May 10th is still an important date. That's when we get the next inflation report. So I've got May 10th circled on my calendar as an important one. If inflation reports come in weaker as expected and then continue that trend through the summer, we should see interest rates continue to drop, hopefully down 30-year fix somewhere in the fives, right? Low to mid fives. And that would be welcome, of course, for buyers. But again, will cause more competition, will keep the prices up. So if you have buyers who are thinking the prices are going to fall apart and they're waiting for a great deal like happened 12 years ago, they're probably dreaming. Honestly, there's just not enough inventory, and interest rates getting softer and lower through the summer is just going to exacerbate that problem and cause more competition, and continue to have a seller's market, right, for the majority of the year. So that's what I'm seeing, and that's what's happening right now. Any questions, of course, please feel free to reach out. I want to remind you to follow me on Instagram. If you're not doing that, you can find me at bill.z.mortgage. I've been putting together reels, which are 15 to 40-second long short videos about mortgage and money related topics. It's supposed to be infotainment, so there's music and dancing. No, there's no dancing, just music. But it's good stuff and lots of different topics you're welcome to share with your clients to help them understand a little bit more about mortgages and market money and how to prepare themselves to buy a home. Call, email, text me if you have any questions. Have a wonderful day and a great week.